The closure of the Wales estate is still lingering on the front burner, with many pondering what is to be expected. Concerned sugar workers on Tuesday met with opposition leader Barry Jagdeo, who visited the estate to lend a listening ear. At that juncture, Jagdeo blasted the government for what he terms a sinister plan to do away with sugar completely. Guysuco is saying that is not the case, as is being wrongly peddled by the opposition. Chief Executive Officer of the sugar company, Mr. Errol Hanuman, in a televised interview, expressed that the decision had to be taken if sugar in the whole is going to survive.
Consistently, year after year, diverted scarce resources from the better estates to keep the poor performers going. This has resulted in a decline in the performance of the better estates. Were we to continue with this practice, they would all.
Mr. Hanuman said the impact the global prices have on sugar must never be sidelined, noting that even when prices were high, the company was still suffering losses. That aside, the company still struggled to cover their expenses even with government bailouts. The Wales estate was plagued with problems and remedying them was not a cost-effective approach. Mr. Hanuman detailed a few.
Sadly, Wales of all the estates is in the worst shape. 60% of our check sluices, our dredging irrigation infrastructure, is run down. 75% of our bridges on the estate are in poor shape. The cultivation is in poor condition. The factory is old and is in need of significant.
Harvesting of the cane was also expensive, given the fact the actual cane production was low. The Guysuco CEO maintained that any attempt to salvage the Wales estate would have resulted in more harm than good, since other estates and government would feel the brunt of funding this recovery.
Our practice which we've been doing in the past, not only will Wales, with that investment, not give us what we need because it's much too small, it's uneconomical, but we are going to further run down the other estates, right? And that type of practice will only lead to the.
Mr. Hanuman posited that the Wales estate was effectively bleeding the industry, deeming it a source of Guysuco's hemorrhaging. This very sentiment was relayed at the post-cabinet media briefing by Minister Harman, who referred to the estate as an economic nightmare. Both Guysuco and the government are urging that the truth be understood and not buy into the current efforts to capitalize on the situation by the PPP. For Safe TV 2 Headline News, Kingsley Bryan.